Okay, people. So it is, I think, November 24th. It's Friday, 2017. I got my stuff from Fraser Health. They want me to go to court on December 7th at 9:45 in the morning so they can throw it out to the wind. Because they can sit up there and twist things around, use their... This is a lawyer firm that's representing a healthcare facilities, more than one, that didn't follow the rules, people. But they want to use court rules. Fraser Health Authority wants to use court rules to avoid the fact that they didn't follow the rules when they had Uncle John. And whatever information that I've written down in terms of the notice of claim and how I wrote it, all it did was provide windows on how to make it worse for people, in terms of the corporation can see the window and can now cover it up in terms of how to protect their ass. So that the next time somebody wants to file a lawsuit, they'll have that base covered because they managed to close the windows on me. Right? But before I go too far into this, I don't really want to carry on for too long. I don't even know what I'm going to say. All I know is I told Uncle John that if need be, I'd go to jail. He told me I wouldn't go to jail. Right? It seems to me it's going in that direction. It does. Because for the last 4 or 5 days, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's so I just feel like Uncle John is sick. I feel like he's either sick, or he's dying, or he's agitated. I feel like he's missing us. I feel like he wants to be with us. Right? I don't think he's going to last very long if he's even alive anymore, people. Seriously. And Fraser Health Authority seem to think this is a joke. Because I don't know how to write their corruption down so that the court will acknowledge it. And if they don't want to acknowledge infractions under the Criminal Code of Canada and how they broke their rules and their mandates through the Community Living Act, the Mental Health Act, and all these other freaking acts that they supposedly operate under, with an 85 to a 95% immigrant workforce that cannot speak English, never mind read it correctly and write it, just so that they can save themselves some dollars without having to train the Canadian-born people, regardless of their ethnic heritage, to go to school and to be the next generation of nurses. They got to bring them in from Czechoslovakia and the UK and Germany and places like that. Right? Fiji. A lot of Fiji workers out here wiping asses, people. China. Anyway, obviously they're trying to throw it out. They made note of that, one of my YouTube videos, in regards to when I went to go see that pro bono lawyer, and after all the kerfuffle was, after he filled out his little paperwork and all this, he got us in late, right? You know, and then 15 minutes of him filling out his paperwork, blah, 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 and then his 15 minutes of experienced advice to drop it. You know, they're bringing to the attention that the experienced lawyer said. Well, yeah, because that experienced lawyer is corrupt, right along with the rest of these people. Because that experienced lawyer took a total of 15 minutes to turn around and call me a tramp, basically. right, that I was just Uncle John's friend. Uncle John just lived with this family as a friend, as if he was renting a hotel room. Kind of like what those social workers were saying with that family meeting that they had 3 days before they drugged him up, put him in a hammock, and transported him illegally to Victoria. And then told him that he was never going back and that he could never talk about us again because it was the past. The Fraser Health Authority doesn't want the judge to hear that. Right? Whether it comes from me, whether it comes from my kids, and they sure in the hell didn't listen to Uncle John. Because if they listened to Uncle John, none of this would be happening. Or quite possibly I'm going to end up in jail because of this shit. With thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars put upon my head for shysters trying to protect their employment before they actually protect the public. This is a law firm that supposedly works for a public service agency that exploit vulnerable children, vulnerable youth, vulnerable young adults, people such as myself who are not well because of the stress in terms of what was going on with the city, you know, what was going on with Andre at one point in the past, what's been going on with my daughter in and out throughout whatever, right? And how it all manifested to where it is today. You know, what's been going on with Uncle John, right? The fact that I can't access the healthcare system and get proper care in terms of a caring care worker that, you know, is more interested in helping and, you know, wanting to see me healthy versus wanting to see me sick and destroyed and out in the streets with the rest of those people in those tents, which I'd like to point out that about 4 or 5 days ago, people, okay, just recently, somebody was stabbed in front of the front room, which is the homeless shelter. And do you know what happened after this person was stabbed? For 40 minutes. 40 minutes. No emergency services came to help this man. No police, no fire department, no ambulance, nothing for 40 minutes. And he had been stabbed, people. And when they finally did come, it wasn't the ambulance that came to help him. It wasn't the fire department that came to help him, but a swarm of cop cars. That's who came to help him. This is what the people out on the street told me. This is your healthcare system. Okay? This is what Fraser Health is providing to me as it trickles down to my family. So, I don't know. I tried to read all this little stuff that they wrote here, but it looks like they pulled out a whole bunch of court cases to confirm their application to dismiss it. Willow versus Chong, Young versus Bronzanzi, RV Imperial Tobacco, Paragraph 17, the principle that the material facts in a pleading must be taken as true does not mean that the allegations based on assumption or speculation must be taken as true. Such allegations should properly be subject to a skeptical analysis. Just wordplay, people. That's all it is. Wordplay. Insufficient material facts have been pleaded to support. I have quoted the Criminal Code of Canada. Those are material facts. I have quoted their mandates, and I have specifically pointed out where they failed to provide proper services to Uncle John from the very beginning of his stay at the hospital, right up until the time he was illegally transported to Victoria under duress against his will. But because I'm just a friend, the tramp, then an experienced lawyer reminded me of that. This is what these guys are saying. I am insignificant. And even though Uncle John has been calling these kids his grandkids from the day they were born, that is insignificant. What do they classify my kids as? If they classify me as a tramp, what do they classify my kids as? Trampettes? Under their nepotism of protecting their corrupt employees? They got another one. They got a whole bunch of them in here. Like I said, all they did was take my notice of claim, and versus trying to help Uncle John, help his immediate family, right? Ensure that there was their protocols, their mandates, their rules and regulations were being met by their staff, you know, rooting out the corruption within their system. They're not concerned about that, people, because they like those house sales. It props up that provincial budget so that lawyer that gave me that advice can get paid. Maybe not get paid for that 15 minutes of pro bono to call me a tramp, but the next time he goes to court and he does something in the court setting, he's getting paid by the provincial government. The masters, the judges, get paid by the provincial government. All the court clerks, everybody in that freaking courthouse get paid by the provincial government. Any lawyer that represents the provincial government, whether it's the Fraser Health Authority or whatever, this company that is employed by Fraser Health is being employed by the provincial government. Because it's the provincial government that gives the money to Fraser Health, that gives the money to the lawyer firm. And what's propping up the economy, people? It's an overinflated housing market that is bringing in genocide in Canada as it preys on the most vulnerable in our society. That is what is propping up the BC provincial government budget. That's what the BC Liberal government did in order to ensure that the unions got their pension plans, their superannuation life insurance policies, their dental plans, their health plans, their expenses paid, their disability pension plans, all of it, right? They had to find a way to get those tax dollars coming in, to keep the economy running. So now they're targeting the old people as they destroy the old people's families that are vulnerable. And they're using nepotism, like in the case of John's reputable nurse sister. Because again, she's in the halls scoping out her next victim. Victims. More than one. I'm going to keep saying it, people, until this is in front of a judge and a judge sees it for what it is. Because all those people are getting paid by the taxpayers. None of them are working independently. The only person who's working independently is me. And I'm being punished for it. Because they want to throw the court rule even though they don't follow their own damn rules. I'm not going to be afraid. I've said that before. I am not going to be afraid. So I would suspect that this will be thrown out because we know it was going to happen anyway. Right? That Masters that sat up there and said, oh, I know you can do the amendment. I know you can do it. Instead of 15 pages, I'll give you 20. Even though he knew that when I tried to submit it, I would be breaking the court rule because he wanted those 20 pages independently written on a separate 20 pages outside of the original notice of claim. And when you go to submit it into the courthouse, you can't do that, people. Remember, I forced the courthouse to take the 20 pages that the Masters asked me. Because I was supposed to draw out a bunch of freaking lines in mine right? And submit it that way versus write it down on 20 pages the way the masters asked me. So, you know, they made me look like an idiot. They made me look like I was being hostile towards the clerks as I'm saying, no, this is what the master wanted. He wanted 20 pages. Here's the 20 pages. But in light of that it came from this, we should put the two together. As I'm being told that you can't do that, but I can do what I want. I can't do that, but I can do what I want. And I'm like, well, I want to try and do it right to the best of my ability, so we'll do the 20 pages. Plus, I took the time to draw out the lines where I thought I could draw them out. I did not draw them out from the relief sought because I don't know how to ask for all this. I don't know what to ask for, people. I don't know. Obviously, my family is suffering mental trauma. We've been suffering mental trauma for a long freaking time because, again, the union sector wants to keep control of poverty. They go on bragging about how we live in a capitalistic society, but as soon as you try and step out and be on your own, they come along and they chop you off at the fucking knees one way or another, right? You go off and try and do park fence. Next thing you know, you're having to pay for this, pay for that, file for this, file for that, you know, and then they cut off the hydro. Like, it's just one thing after another, right? Because, you know, they're building wealth for themselves. All these people that work within the healthcare system get their wages from the public tax dollars. And the way the economy is being stimulated is through house sales. And the most vulnerable group in that sector are the elderly people, the baby boomers coming in with their assets being illegally detained in hospital settings so that they are forced to sell their assets and go into old folks' homes to prop up a failing healthcare system that is being privatized and sold off to China, to bring in more immigrant workers who cannot speak English and don't care if you die once your assets are depleted. And that's the bottom line. That's why you have tens of thousands of people out on the street scattered throughout this freaking province. Because it's genocide in Canada. And this law firm wants to hide that fact, use what I wrote to blanket up the windows so that the next time somebody comes along and tries to challenge them over this bullshit, you know, they got a backup plan because they've already had time to practice on how to fucking put the brakes on it, right? Basically, right? As they're soft killing me off. Basically, they're soft killing me. It's a soft kill. City with the harassment was a soft kill. The MCFD with this constant harassment is a soft kill, right? Fucking with my finances is a soft kill, right? Sending me to a lawyer that wants to call me a tramp but yet call himself experienced and a professional is soft kill. It's all gaslighting and soft kill. Just like they left that dude out there for 40 minutes. Even though you got a cop shop not even like 2 minutes away from it because they built themselves that little portable cop shop with their gazebo. Where were the cops that day? Fire department just like 5 minutes away from here. Where was the fire department? Ambulance over there like 15, not even 10, 15 minutes away. Why did it take 40 minutes for these people to come and help a man that got stabbed on the streets? Because it's genocide in Canada, people. And that's what Fraser Health is protecting. They take the old people for their assets. If Uncle John had no assets and no family, he'd be out on the streets. There are people out there in wheelchairs right now. And then they expect the families to put their tail between their legs and never say anything about it and just forget their loved one as if they're a missing woman, a missing native woman, and chalk it up for, oh well, you know, it is what it is. People don't go missing for 3 years, people. And never call. He never called because he wasn't allowed to call. They took the phone away from him. They took everything away from him. The only thing that they didn't take away from him was his life, because they needed to keep him alive so they could transfer over the paperwork and milk the federal government for their fucking pension plans as they're banking it for themselves. I'm out here working on meat, whatever it is, because I'm depressed, right? I'm getting ready for winter because I know come freaking January, there is not going to be no money for food, people. Fraser Health Authority, CIBC Bank, and the Dunk Clan took care of that right along with these funky fucking lawyers. So anyway, I'm not going to be afraid. They could charge me $100,000. It wouldn't matter to me, people, because they've already destroyed my life. They practically destroyed my nonprofit. What they've done to this family in conspiracy with CIBC Bank that they don't want to invite into the proceedings, because I asked the judge that, Masters, I'd like CIBC Bank to be like put together with, oh no, we don't want CIBC Bank here. No, judge. Why? Why not? Why can't we deal with it? Why can't we just go through the notice of claim, one section at a time, talk it out like real adults, right? Correct me where I'm wrong. Prove to me how you gave John quality service. Prove to me how you treated his family with respect under your mandate. Prove to me how you did that. Show me where I am error of my ways. And I will admit, I misunderstood what was going on. But I'm telling you guys, they don't want that to happen. Because it will stop their money train. It will give other people resources to fight back when their loved ones go disappearing within the system. For their assets. While the people out in the street get stabbed and nobody comes. The ambulance doesn't come, the police don't come, the fire department doesn't come, nobody comes to help them. Because they're slated to be destroyed. They're slated to have soft kill tactics brought onto their personal well-being and murdered off to save the taxpayers money so the taxpayers can pay more money to these people to rip you off when it's your turn. Nothing new under the sun. It's going to come full circle. There's only about 20 years of baby boomers, people. After the baby boomers are all dead and gone, all their money's been scooped up on, all their money's been spent, all those crooked family Duncan clan members are dead. It's just going to be a new generation of victims. That's all. And these videos, one way or another, will remain, and I'll be saying, I told you so, in my grave. So you want to charge me $100,000 for bullshit? Go ahead. Because it is. It's just bullshit. Okay, people. So it's November 23rd, 2017. And I'm still getting ready for winter. You can see. This is beef. Looking for beef bones. Can't find beef bones. Found pork bones, chicken bones, but can't find beef bones. Anyway, as I'm looking for beef bones, I came across beef roasts, which I normally don't buy because I'm not going to pay $31 for a size roast. But this is the size that, this is the way the world is going. You can't even afford. Back in the day when my kids were young, I used to pay like $5, $6 for a piece of meat like that. Now they want 30, right? Anyway, buy one, get one free. So I got that much for 30 bucks. Then I've got 4 more of these in the fridge. And you're going to see what I'm going to do over the next day, right, in terms of just topping off what I have for winter. And then, of course, I'm still doing some seeds, right, you can see. And I brought out the old soapstone to sharpen my knives. So let's see what we get. Hold on. Okay, so I'm on number 1. You can see what I'm doing here, people. Okay. Andre likes Mr. Noodle, but I don't like to rely on Mr. Noodle. I really don't. I don't like to feed it to him very often. So anyway, I'm going to up it, right, with like more of a soup with the meat and the vegetable and the, I'll show you the noodles. I've got some in my fridge, but hold on. You can see now I'm going to layer this, and then I'm going to freeze it, and then after I'm going to put it in a bag, and then when I'm cooking, it's easy to take out 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever at a time. Hold on. Okay, so now we're going into number 2. You can see I got 3 layers. That's what I'm going to do, people. There's 3 layers in there. Put one of these on top. Put it in the freezer. And then after, you're going to see it's going to go into a bag individually. I've started to make for sandwiches. And these are bits and pieces for probably hamburger. Hold on. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I've done 3. And I've got 3 more to go. Anyway, these are sliced. I am going to vacuum seal them. That will be tomorrow. This is for stew. I'm going to vacuum seal them. That will be tomorrow. I'm getting this ready for hamburger. I'm a little concerned about this parchment paper. I should really be using technically wax paper or freezing paper. I don't know if parch paper is going to be thick enough. I'm afraid that when it freezes, it's going to stick to the meat. But we will find out. As you can see, these are for sandwich. They're a little bigger. They're bigger pieces. They're only about a 1/4 inch thick. And then the top piece, these ones are quite marbled. So I did those 3, and then I did a 1 inch here just to see how it freezes, right? And I'm going to make these ones just in a bag, easy to grab, versus vacuum sealing. Vacuum sealing is for long term, right? More long term. The way I'm doing it this way is more for short term. So, and then we've got to vacuum seal, and then to vacuum seal, and I still have 3 more of these to cut up. So hold on. Okay, so this is for stew. 2 or 3 packs, depending. This is for pan fry, make gravy, whatever, potatoes, whatever. This is for sandwiches. We have some already in the freezer on parchment paper, which probably should be wax paper, but we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow. But that's for sandwiches, right? This is for a quick little stir fry. They're thin, and I'm gonna be vacuum sealing these ones. These ones I'm all vacuum sealing, right? This is for hamburger meat, so I have to bring out my grinder. And I think I didn't really want to. I put my canner away, but if I had more money, I'd go off and buy. Well, actually, the sale is over now, so I should go tomorrow and see how much the same roasts are costing tomorrow. But I should have actually 2 more to make more hamburger meat and to can more, but this is fine. So these ones here, I'll get a few jars anyway, and then we got what we got in the fridge, right? We've got some thin ones like this, 4 layers, and we've got this size, 3 layers. So we'll be back tomorrow.